Roman bathhouses were an essential component to the city. Not only did they contribute advanced architectural developments to society, but they were also a social hub where Romans of any economic class could intermingle. While the Romans took inspiration from Greek bathhouses, a few things, such as their advanced heating systems and intricate bathing routines, distinctly separated the Roman complexes from the Greek ones. Romans referred to bathing as a daily tradition. It was a time where they could relax, converse with friends, talk politics, and enjoy entertainment. Bathhouses were largely easy and cheap structures to build, which allowed for an influx in construction, going from about 200 bathhouses at the end of the 1st century to over 856 bathhouses by the 4th century. In fact, it is widely believed that there were more bath complexes than all other ancient buildings, not including temples, in Rome. One architectural historian even compared choosing a bath complex to bathe at to choosing a grocery store to shop at.
A typical Roman thermae, or bathhouse, was composed of several rooms, each with their own distinct purpose. There were grand open areas, called palaestrae, used as exercise yards for collaborative and solo workouts for the ancient classical games. In the center of these massive complexes stood the bathing blocks, where most of the rooms were arranged symmetrically. Many of these rooms had a focus on water, as bathhouses had vast water storages and connections to their own aqueducts, or in many cases, both. In classical examples, the frigidarium, the cold room, stood dead center with great vaulted ceilings topped with a dome. Many of these included cold plunge pools. Its opposite, the caldarium, or hot room, would typically be placed on the south wall of the thermae in order to get the most use of the sun's natural heat. This room would have a hot water pool and a separate basin of water to cool off with. In one of our prime examples, the baths of Caracalla, a notatio, or open water swimming pool, stood directly opposite the caldarium on the north side of the thermae. Other specific rooms included an apoditarium, the changing rooms, tepidarium, which was the indirectly heated warm room, massage rooms, as well as laconica and sudatoria, superheated sweat rooms. Some of the larger bathhouses, like Nero's Domus Aurea, or Golden House, dedicated in 80 AD alongside the Colosseum, included immense water storage, meeting spaces, libraries, lecture halls, museums, and the like. It came to be known as the prime example of the imperial bathhouse and included cisterns along the outer perimeter of the building for smaller water storage. For the heated rooms, the sun alone couldn't be relied on to maintain the desired sweat-inducing heat, so bathhouses innovated and really pushed ahead Roman underfloor heating. The floors themselves would be hollow underneath, supported by small columns to create an open space underneath the floors that could be superheated for specific rooms. The baths of Caracalla, built between 212 and 216 CE, is one of the largest standing examples of an imperial Roman bathhouse. It stood nearly 500 square yards, covering 50 acres, and had a refined mix of social amenities for a central building, and was also very practical, holding great basins for water storage. Its central bath block was located on the northeast side, and a main entranceway on the southwest side, which is also where the circular caldarium jutted out. This, surrounded by long rows of uniform windows, created a vision to the outside world that was interesting and also representative of what could be found inside the building. The interior is described by author and historian John Bryan Ward Perkins as smoothly functional and yet eloquent, emphasized by the symmetrical bath block, seen at the center of the image.
The planning that went into the creation of these elaborate buildings helped to drive major architectural elements which are still in heavy use today. Due to the need for airflow, the bathhouses saw the first implementation of the dome. Such stable structures were necessary to support the lofty ceilings, which allowed for a controlled climate in each room. Structural innovation was also necessary considering the scale of an average bathhouse. Adapted from the Greek hip baths, which used simple hot coals as heating, Roman bathhouses employed stone pillars which raised the baths up, creating a cavity beneath them, which was filled with superheated air from a number of wood-burning furnaces located throughout the entire complex. This very efficient method of spreading the heat around the bathhouses as opposed to locally heating gave rise to some extremely elaborate baths in Rome's larger cities. Such large pools required a great deal of water. Water for the bathhouses was brought in by aqueduct, and many large bathhouses even had aqueducts specifically for bathing. Huge reservoirs also held backup water, with some able to contain 20,000 cubic meters of water, which is as much as 8 Olympic-sized swimming pools. The baths were built with fireproof terracotta bricks, tiled with intricate mosaics, and surrounded by large columns and marble walls. In fact, The Baths of Karkala used 6.9 million bricks, featured 252 columns, towered 30 meters tall, and covered an area well over 100,000 square meters. The sheer magnitude of the bathhouses, coupled with their innovative strategies, has been reflected in some modern-day architecture. The Chicago Railroad Station, for example, showcases a high vaulted ceiling which perfectly mimics the frigidarium of the Baths of Karkala. All around us today, we can see their influence.
The Roman baths were a major aspect of Roman society, primarily as a meeting place for all classes, due to low entry fees. This was a place for people to relax and show off their wealth. And this status was based on the amount of slaves or people one brought with them to the complex. Moreover, it gave those from the urban population a chance to relish in luxury, escaping their cramped living conditions.
Romans reserved their afternoons for relaxation at the baths. A typical routine of a Roman bather would start out in the Epopterium, where they would change. Next, they would go to the Palaistrae, where they would partake in light exercise and recreation. Following that, they would cover themselves in oils and use a strigil, a curved blade, to remove the sweat and dirt from their body. And finally, they would move between the different bathing rooms, usually starting at the Tepidarium, the medium heat room, and ending with the Frigidarium, the cold room.
While of course the main purpose of the bathhouse was to clean the populace of the city, it had many additional functions. It was a chance to play games, engage in light exercise, and converse with friends and peers. And there were conversations ranged from happenings locally to across the empire. Many larger complexes also offered a variety of entertainment ranging from music and singing to traveling, shows, and gymnastics. The bathhouse was truly a place for it all. In addition, many Romans believed that the regimen of bathing in different temperature pools was a way to treat and prevent a variety of illnesses. The exchange of information in the houses is comparable to the coffee houses during the French Revolution. Often riots or revolts would originate within the bathhouses. As Figert Ugel, a historian of Roman architecture, put it, it would not be exaggerating to say, at the height of their empire, public baths embodied the Roman way of urban living. While the building of new public houses in Rome and its empire was seen as a great generosity by the emperor, to close a bath was considered one of the most strict punishments put on a city. By building these somewhat uniform structures across the Roman Empire and onto the Roman periphery, the civilization of Rome was projected to touch many citizens as possible, to assimilate the outer population as well as giving Romans away from the city a taste of home. Additionally, this went on to fuel the image of Rome and her people as the very embodiment of civilization. When a foreign dignitary asked a Roman emperor why he and his people bathed once a day, he simply responded, "Because I don't have time to bathe twice a day."
Compared to the ancient times, the Roman bathhouse has seen a bit of a fall from grace, as modern bathhouses can be best described as, well, disappointing.